Hey Sierras, what's up? It's Benitez here, and today I'm going to be showing you the IOTAP cloning tool. I presented this product earlier this week at the Microsoft Melbourne Dynamic CRM user group, and I'm really excited to share it with you all today. In terms of the structure of today's session, I'll talk about the cloning tool, what you can use it for in CRM, the required configuration to get the cloning features working in CRM. I'll show you how it works in CRM Online and the licensing. Okay, so what is it? It's an add-on from a company called IOTAP. It is a managed CRM solution. It's available for on-premise and on the cloud, so you have the flexibility in installing it enterprise or online, and it's used on out-of-the-box entities, so things like the opportunities, the accounts, the contacts, the price lists, the quotes, and you have the ability to use it in custom entities as well. And you can clone at a related record level. So for example, if you want to clone an account record and clone the associated contacts as well, you can do that. All you need to do is set up the relationship configuration. And what can it be used for? Okay, so you can clone a primary record in CRM, and you can clone associated records. So the example I provided earlier was account and its associated contacts. You can also clone a single record, and multiple cloned records can be generated from one single record. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anyways, you can also create a cloned record when you execute a workflow, and I'll be showing you this today in the demo. In terms of the configuration, there is an area in settings that you will need to set up if you want to do the following, which is cloning related records. So as a user, I want to clone an account with its associated contacts cloned as well. You can also exclude fields as part of the cloned record. So if you want to omit things like the country from the address field of the account, you can do that, and you can also create a cloned record through a workflow. Alright, so I'm going to jump into the demo, and this is what I will show you. I'm going to show you the configuration side, how the cloning works, and the clone log that is available in IOTAP. Alright, so let's get into my online environment. So what I have up on screen is CRM price lists in this environment, and this is something I can clone out of the box. It's ready to go once I install the solution. So basically, you select a record that you want to clone. I'm going to select this guy, and up here in the command area, you're going to see two new custom commands. So one is clone and one is clone multiple. This is what will be installed after you set up, after you import the IOTAP cloning tool solution. So if I click on clone here, we're going to see this dialog pop up, and it's going to process a cloned record of this price list that I've selected. And once it's finished cloning the record, we're going to see it open up in the screen automatically. So let's wait for a couple of seconds more. Okay, so here it is. It has opened, and it adds a prefix of clone, and if I scroll down, it will have also cloned the price list items. Okay, well this one doesn't have a price list item, but if it did have a price list item, it would clone it as well, and that's available out of box. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the clone multiple function. It's the same process as cloning a single record. You select the record that you want to clone, and this time you click on clone multiple command, and it will prompt you to enter the number of cloned records that you want to be generated. So I'm going to type in 3, and I'm going to click OK. So we'll see that same dialog pop up again, and it's going to go ahead and generate 3 cloned records of this account that I have selected. We'll wait for this to kick in. Okay, I'm going to refresh this view, and once I've refreshed it, you can see that it has copied the record, and it again will add a prefix. So those are the two functionalities that are available after you have installed the solution. What I'm going to show you next is how to do the configuration for any additional requirements that you may have. I'm going to go into settings, and in settings you'll see that there's these 3 new areas in the menu, and the first one is the cloned attributes exclude. So when I click on this, we're going to have the ability to exclude fields when a cloned record is generated. Here's one that I created earlier, which I'm going to open, and I'll show you what it looks like. So basically you need to grab the entity name of the particular record that you want to clone, and then you have to grab the field name. So to do that, you need to go into the solution itself. So I've just opened up the default solution. Oh, why is that all out of whack? Okay, I've opened up the default solution, and in here is where I can find all the information about the fields in terms of the schema name. Oh, sorry, this is relationships, my bad. Let's just go to fields. All right, let's just wait for this to load. Okay, now we're in fields. Sorry about that. Okay, so the definition that we want to grab is the field name. So don't grab the schema name. The schema name is what you use for the relationship. So if I grab address 1 country, so I'm just going to go copy, and I'm going to go back in the clone attribute record. I just go comma and I paste and hit save. So by adding this additional field in here, the field name, it will go ahead and exclude the country of the account that I am cloning. So when the cloned record is generated, I'm not going to see telephone, I'm not going to see city, and I'm not going to see country in terms of the values when that cloned record is generated. Okay, cool. The next one is the related records. So this is the clone related records area, and I'm going to open up one of the records I created earlier. So this is cloning contacts that are associated to accounts. Basically what you need to do is you need to grab the parent entity name, so the name of the record that you're cloning, and the relationship. So if I go back into the solution and go to my one-to-many relationships, and if we just sort this by related entity, okay, so the one that's already in there is this one, which is the contact. So if you clone an account and it has contacts, it will clone copies of the contacts as well and append that to the cloned, the clone generated record. There we go. Okay, so what I'm gonna do this time is I'm gonna create a new relationship record where it's gonna clone the note. So I'm gonna jump back into CRM here, and we'll go ahead and create a brand new one. So this is to clone the associated note to I said that too fast. The associated notes of the account and append it to the cloned account record. Got some tongue twisters in this. Okay. Alright, so what I want to grab is the schema name. So if I copy that and I paste it back here and I hit save. So what's going to happen is behind the scenes, the cloning tool is going to grab some definitions in here so that it knows that this is what I need to clone. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate this in action. So I'm going to go back to accounts, and I'm going to clone this record. So in this record, I have a note that I've created, and we're going to see the city and the country being excluded from the clone, and we should also see the contacts being cloned as well. Alright, so I'm going to click on the ellipsis, I'm going to select clone, and the dialog is going to pop up, and we'll wait for this to kick in. Awesome sauce, cool. So here is the account record, and as you can see, it has excluded the city and it has excluded the country in terms of the address. And if I take a look at the phone, that's been excluded as well. And if we now go to notes, it's also copied that note over from the original account record that I wanted to clone. So that is how cloning related records in CRM works with the IOTAP cloning tool. The other additional feature that I would like to show today is generating a cloned record from a workflow. So I'm going to open up one of my workflows in here called clone account record. So I'm just going to deactivate this to show you how to get to the custom workflow activity that is provided in the IOTAP cloning tool solution. So if you click on add step and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's this custom workflow activity called add-on record clone. And once you've added it as a step in your CRM workflow, you then have to define some properties. So in here I've said that I want to clone the account, and this is the number of clones that I would like to generate. And so basically my symbol condition in here is if the relation type if the relation type equals competitor, then I want it to clone the record. Okay, so I'm going to go and activate this workflow, and then we're going to jump back into CRM and I'll show you how it works. Okay, let's go with organics company, and I'll change the relationship type to competitor and hit save. Now the workflow would have been triggered, so let's go and check it out. Cool, so at the moment it is in progress, so my workflow is a asynchronous workflow, it's not a real-time workflow, and it has succeeded. So if I minimize my workflow window and I go back into CRM and refresh my accounts view, I should now see it. So here it is, it's worked. So this is just a simple workflow that I've just put together to show you how you can clone a record simply from executing a workflow. Cool. The final thing that I wanted to show you is the clone log. This will capture any errors that occur as part of the clone, and if you ever needed to contact IOTAP for support in some issue, this is a good way to start in terms of coming in here, seeing if there is a log, copying and pasting the error log into an email and sending it off to IOTAP support. Yeah, so that's a cloning tool in action. So I'm going to jump back into my slides. So what you need to be aware of, when I implemented this for one of my clients, and the client uses custom security roles, I forgot to modify the custom security roles to have access to the IOTAP cloning tool, so don't forget that. The other thing is I found that it didn't cascade to additional levels of related records after you've done the configuration. So for example, if I had set up an opportunity relationship record where it will clone when you clone an account through the contact level, it didn't work. Like it would only go account and contact, but it didn't go down from the contact to the opportunity. So that's something to be aware of. And the other thing that I played around with was cloning inactive records. I cloned a closed opportunity record that had a status of 1, and when the clone record generated, it was in a status of active, and the business process flow was at the stage of close. So that's something you need to be aware about if you are planning on cloning inactive records, because it will make it in an active state after it has been cloned. In terms of the licensing, this is the license. I'll provide some links in my blog post of how to get to here. And yeah, that's it for today. I hope you guys found the post useful. I think it's a great tool. It allows you to clone records, which Microsoft Dynamics CRM doesn't allow you to do out of the box, and it does a pretty good job out of it. Cool. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. At the Melbourne Microsoft CRM user group, and it is a mind blank. Let's try that again. IOTAP cloning tool. I demonstrated this earlier this week at the Microsoft Melbourne. Why is this so hard? So for the configuration, you can set up 3 types of different configuration. Okay, let's try it again.